Hello everyone. We have a game with the white pieces against Bengalina, rated 1385. And let's see what she does. Okay, we bring a knight out towards the center. See if we can get a Jobava London, and we can. We can also play e4, since he didn't stop us from playing it, so let's do that. Now both of our bishops have nice diagonals. Black pins the knight, which threatens to take the pawn. So I'm going to remove the tension, gain space, and limit his knight from developing. He can take the knight if he wants to. So he plays c5, attacking my pawn chain, and I can't play c3 to support it. You could defend it, just develop something normal. You could probably take as well, but his bishop left, queen g4 hits this pawn, a little bit interesting. If he takes here, I wonder. You have lots of options probably there. We could also take first and then put our queen here, so we don't even have to think about it. Okay, let's take here. It'll be weird if he recaptures backwards. Maybe he should have done it with the knight. But he moves the same piece twice, which relieves the pin. Pressures this pawn a little bit. But after my queen move that I had planned on doing, a developing move for free, because it hits a target, I'm not sure how he wants to defend that pawn. King f8, g6. So he plays g6. But that creates some weaknesses on the dark squares. And long term, that'll be good for us. We could continue developing for free with the bishop out to, let's say, g5, but that will encourage his queen to attack our dark squares in a different way. So maybe we want to be more prepared before we do something like that. I'm just going to develop my king's knight towards the center, protect the pawn. He develops his bishop and looks at this diagonal, also protects it from any checks. There is this additional option, but let's just keep developing. Let's do that. So we want to get our bishop out so we can castle. Where do we want it? I mean, this looks like it's staring at pawns, but we're going to probably attack that square. So I'm going to put it here because I'm going to try to attack the g6 square with a pawn. We're ready to castle. Castle. We have a French type pawn structure. He goes knight here. Looks at the f5 square. But now it gives us the perfect potential opportunity to go here. Again, he can go here, hitting stuff. But what happens? Yeah, let's just castle first. Just to overprotect the f2 pawn with the rook, because I don't care so much about the b pawn. So he develops his knight, which looks at the center. Now we can finally go here or prevent castling. If I prevent castling and he develops the knight hitting my bishop and I take it, That's a thing, but I'd rather just pin the knight so it can't move, and then I can maybe stick it in here. Developing and pinning for free. It does let him castle, but I am kind of on his king side with lots of stuff. He has lots of things on the other side of the board, so it might not end well for him. Let's find out. So we could go here because f6 and f5 are always weird defensive resources at different lines. We could hit the rook, but it goes back. Now his knight's free to move again. So this is a move. I think I'm just going to do that. Connect the pawn and bishop. Line up the queen with the king. So now he can't recapture with the g pawn if I take. And my plan is to just go h4, h5, or queen h4, queen h6, but I'm not sure if that works. So he moves the queen, which disconnects the defense of the knight, although it unpins the knight. It looks at this, which is defended, so I don't need to waste time with my rook. It does walk into this knight move. If he attacks the knight, let's say, and I jump the knight in here, and he takes me, and I take him, the pawn hits the knight moves somewhere, and it's fine, but it's not what I was hoping to get out of all of that. Okay, so in this case, do we want pawn to h4, or do we want to try to get our queen in? So queen here threatens to win the knight. Oh no, it doesn't. It's defended twice. But it does threaten to go here. He can only defend that with this, and we could take it. I think that's a little bit faster than h4, h5. What other defensive resources? I don't really see it, so I also have queen to the h file and knight g5, but I think this one looks the best. Sneak it in here. I could go knight g5 after that if I needed to. And I actually don't think I need the h pawn just because of the way he played. I think I could just do it with the pieces. Well, let's see. If I ever need, I always have the extra battering ram h pawn. And they can't get a knight to f8, or e8. To defend this square. They can only go to f5, but I can take it. And the rook is in the way of bringing the bishop back. So he can't go like knight in, I take, and then try to bishop back. So he does just jump the knight forward. But now I take it. He has to take with this pawn. So he automatically hangs a pawn with queen threat, so that's bad. So let's do it. Okay, he doesn't want to get mated, so he doesn't take the bishop. But now his bishop's hanging. And I can maybe ignore it and go here anyway and threaten checkmate in 1. And then if he takes my bishop, I can take with the pawn, threaten checkmate in 1. And then I don't think he can do anything. So if I go here, how does he stop mate? He has to cover this square, so he has to just take the bishop. And then I take and there's nothing. So he gets mated either way. Interesting. That's pretty cool. There was a piece hanging. You also could have just removed your piece and just won the knight. Or you could have sacked it maybe. Yeah, but not a bad try from a 1385. They played all normal moves, but the problem is when they let us put a pawn on e5 and gain space, they think it's not a big deal. It happens in not all the games, but so many games. And that pawn always gives us a nice attack on the king side, a little more space. And you can see how developing all your stuff on the queen side and creating this French pawn structure, it could backfire easily. And now it's just checkmate. Pretty quick game, 15 moves, or 16 once I deliver the mate. There's no way to cover that square. And when you have this pawn structure, sometimes you don't want to castle short. You leave your king in the center a little longer, just so you don't walk into these types of attacks. And there's the resignation. Nice. She looked for her resources, right? Tried to see if there was anything, gave it some thought, took a little time. This is the right thing to do. And then, and in a situation like that, if you have to go through every legal move to see if something helps you, then that's what you do. You go through every legal move. Okay, let's go through the game. So we were about to get a potential Jobava London, but they didn't stop us from playing e4. So of course I play e4. They don't take, they pin, but then I just gain space because they allowed me to. And this is also restricts their development. So anti-development and space. Now here you have a bunch of options. I just chose a simple one, but you definitely don't have to take outside of your pawn chain, but you can, and I did. And now development for free. Just development in center. And white is plus 0.8. It's almost a pawn better, and we didn't do anything. Development in center. And it says it's plus 2. Almost, winning just positionally because of the piece layout. And if black castles short, they're just going to get checkmated. So it's kind of weird for black to play. King safety, development. And now as of this move, it's completely lost for black. We develop with a pin, taking care of the weaknesses. We improve a piece and create mating threats. It's plus 5. So basically he's going to have to sack a queen or a rook, like a full rook, to prevent the mate. If that's, like let's say move the knight and then give up the queen. And then maybe that doesn't even work, who knows, but it's plus 5. And then we just creep and crawl in. And I think a lot of players around here would have trouble trying to finish the attack. Little moves like queen g5 where you only move one square, or queen h4, for some reason they have trouble playing. But spending one move to go here and then your next move to go here and like just creep and crawl one square at a time, you can consider that in your attacks when you're not sure what to do. So we bring the queen a little closer, also threaten the knight, tying down both of these pieces to its defense. And then a forcing line, we take the knight, which is the only potential defender of g7. Now it's mate in 4. What's their best move even? Oh yeah, to try to move the rook, to try to get the bishop, I guess, to f8 so you don't get mated immediately. So anything other than that is pretty much immediate mate. So he goes here, we find the best move, and the mate. Why does it say mate in 2? Oh, queen h2 check. Okay, I'm like, I don't get it, but that makes sense. So we have a all zeros, 8 center pawn, 96% game. Very simple stuff. All because they create this French pawn structure, right? They put all their pieces over here, but then they castle the other way. So that means they have no pieces over here. So it makes it easier to checkmate them. Um, hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it helps you understand pawn structures and, you know, you feel more comfortable pushing the e5 pawn forward. Good luck in your chess. See you next time.